Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so whenever we picture the correctional system, it's super easy to fall right into that classic Hollywood stereotype, right? We imagine a judge banging a gavel, steel doors slamming shut, and guards just tossing someone into the first empty cell they can find. Well, today, we're going to completely shatter that illusion. Actually, scratch that. We're going to obliterate it. Because the reality of managing an incarcerated population is this incredibly intricate, high-stakes game of logistics, psychology, and public safety. We're talking about thousands of daily logistical moves where a single bed assignment can cost taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars. So today, we're demystifying North Dakota's inmate classification system to show you exactly how this massive, complex machine actually ticks.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, beyond the locked door. 2, how the sorting works. 3, North Dakota's unique space puzzle. 4, county jails versus state prisons. And finally, preparing for the outside. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. Beyond the locked door. The reality of inmate classification.
Okay, let's dive into this. The reality here goes way, way deeper than just handing someone a uniform and pointing them to a cell block. We're looking at a system that literally dictates a person's entire daily life, minute by minute. Seriously, put yourself in the shoes of a correctional administrator for a second. How do you decide where an individual lives? Imagine trying to perfectly balance a person's physical safety, their specific medical or mental health needs, and public security, all while constantly bumping up against a strict, unyielding cap on available beds. It is a massive puzzle.
And that brings us to the actual definition of classification. Basically, it's the process correctional staff use to decide where a person should be housed, what level of supervision they need, and what programming actually fits their custody status. Think of classification as the central nervous system of the whole operation. It's the crucial bridge linking an individual's unique risk profile directly to their rehabilitation journey. It dictates their access to work, education, treatment, visitation, literally their entire routine inside the facility.
Section 2. How the sorting works. A step-by-step journey.
Let's move on and see how this builds across 3 formal steps. Step 1 is orientation. This is a vital information gathering phase where staff explain the rules and compile a huge, comprehensive profile of the individual. Step 2 is the classification committee meeting. Now, this isn't just one guard making a snap judgment in a hallway. It's a formal review where a whole committee meets directly with the resident. And finally, Step 3. The actual assignment of a custody level, a specific housing unit, and highly recommended programming.
But what exactly is that committee looking at? Well, the list of influencing factors is massive. Ready? They're evaluating security risk and custody level, looking backward at behavioral history, and looking forward at sentence status and time remaining. They have to factor in medical and mental health needs, strict separation needs for safety, program eligibility, and of course, available bed space. The committee has to juggle all these heavy, complex variables at a rapid-fire pace for every single person walking through the doors.
Section 3. North Dakota's unique space puzzle. Managing limited beds.
So compared to those massive systems in places like California or Texas, North Dakota relies on a very tight, compact network of adult facilities. Because of this, classification decisions are incredibly sensitive to bed availability. In a smaller state like this, a single housing decision creates a statewide domino effect. It literally determines if someone stays in a state prison or if they have to be moved to a contract or transitional setting just because of space. Truly, every single bed matters here.
The state's adult facilities are designed around specific custody levels and gender-specific limits. You've got the North Dakota State Penitentiary, which handles the highest risk, maximum to minimum custody men. Then there's the James River Correctional Center from medium to minimum security men. The Missouri River Correctional Center handles minimum, low, and community custody men. And lastly, the Hart River Correctional Center houses minimum security women. Matching the right person to the right environment out of these options is a daily, high-stakes logistical challenge.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the definition of operational capacity. According to the state, capacity isn't just one physical brick-and-mortar building. It's this whole interconnected statewide ecosystem. It includes those state prisons we just talked about, but also transitional housing, contractual treatment centers, and even contract beds rented out in local county facilities. And here is where it gets wild. When they run out of space across this entire ecosystem, they actually have the authority to outright refuse admitted, sentenced inmates to avoid a housing shortfall. Crazy, right?
Section 4. County jails versus state prisons. Understanding the differences.
Let's compare the two directly, because they are very different. County jails are built for the immediate. They hold folks who are awaiting trial or serving super short sentences. The entire focus is on acute safety and immediate crisis management.
State prisons, on the other hand, are an entirely different world. These are long-term environments with defined custody missions. They are designed for a structured, step-down process of rehabilitation that spans years or even decades. Because county jails deal with such chaotic, immediate intakes, their classification focus is highly specific. It's all about immediate safety, strictly separating male and female housing, triaging urgent medical and mental health crises, assessing immediate security risks, and identifying any protective housing requirements. To manage all this chaos safely, the state prescribes strict minimum standards for the construction and operation of these jails, conducting yearly inspections to make sure these short-term crises are handled properly.
Section 5. Preparing for the outside, the bigger picture of re-entry.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this: housing placement determines access. And honestly, this is why this matters to you, me, and everyone else. Our community safety and our taxpayer dollars depend on it. Classification isn't just about keeping people separated by risk, it's about placing individuals exactly where they can get the programming they need. A bed assignment directly controls access to vital work programs, education, and therapy. That access is exactly what reduces their future risk of reoffending and ending back up in the system.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate goal of the whole system. Listen to this core philosophy. Housing decisions in North Dakota can be part of a step-down process, rather than a single, fixed assignment. It's not just a static placement where you're locked in and forgotten. It's a dynamic, sliding puzzle. As an individual shows stability, finishes required programming, and exhibits good behavior, classification is used to move them from higher custody to progressively lower, less restrictive custody.
The final stages of this step-down process involve monitoring, community housing, ongoing treatment, holding down a job, building up savings, and actual community reintegration. These transitional beds are a massive part of the state's operational capacity. They serve as the final, critical bridge back to the outside world, setting the person up to actually survive and hopefully thrive without ever returning to the system.
So, we've seen how North Dakota's system attempts to perfectly balance safety, space, and rehabilitation. But I want to leave you with this one thought-provoking question. If where an inmate is housed fundamentally dictates their access to the rehabilitation they need, is the administrative process of classification actually the true key to reducing future crime? It's a complex balance of logistics and human lives, and as you've seen, it's a reality way beyond just locking a door. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope you walk away with a much deeper understanding of the vital mechanics working behind the scenes in our correctional systems.